I can always tell when someone's attitude or paradigms have been shifted by social media and the culture, right? It's always centering around men are this, women are that. They never come from this healthy perspective in regards to men and women and us just simply coexisting outside of relational context, right? Outside of romance and intimacy. And it's been completely eroded. And so I always say, just delete your socials. It's very evident in the way that men interact with women today. This expectancy for sexual relations, and with women, it's the same. Women are just saying, hey, I just don't want to date men. I don't want to deal with it. And I think it just affects us all across the board. And it's very evident in how people interact with one another today. So I would say it's very evident to see people who are overdosed on social media content and just the overall, quote unquote, again, buzzword, gender wars. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Renaissance Room podcast. Please excuse my voice. It has been crazy. The weather has been doing this thing to where it's one day we're getting 70, the next day we're getting 39, and I just can't, right? So just ignore my voice. In today's episode, I really wanted to talk about something I'm observing in the culture, something that is really starting to be to our detriment. So in the previous episodes, I talked about the emasculation of men. Quite frankly, I think that could have been a series. I think that sincerely could have been a series because there's so many factors that tie into it, from government propaganda to just the lack of fathers, lack of positive role models, the list goes on, right? To the abusive mothers that oftentimes go under the radar because, as we know, I wrote about it in my column, just how when it comes to mother and motherhood, women are essentially given the title of a good mother just because she is a mother, right? So there's no real accountability for her to be a good mother because women are oftentimes considered good mothers just because they bore children, which we know this is not true. So I was sitting on my column today. I was actually on another article. I left a comment for a young boy who was pretty much saying that he was hopeless in regards to dating. I think one of the things that I can honestly say, what I've observed through my own experience, is just how when it comes to young men who grow up to become grown adults, right, is the lack of raising of men, right? Whether it be a father or a mother, no one is raising these little boys. One, I think in regards to black boys, is because, first of all, black boys are criminalized at a very early age. So I think that a lot of times, whenever they should be receiving instruction, they're oftentimes receiving scrutiny, punishment to really kind of tie into or supposedly stray away from them becoming criminalized very early on. We have to realize that is just an America's issue for young black boys. It's not necessarily a communal issue. And I just think until we start treating young black boys like boys and raising them as sons and such, I think we're always going to have this disproportionate amount of men who grow up and they just have no clue how to navigate in life. And I sincerely empathize with them. I was thinking about just how, people grow up today and if they haven't received certain information, they just grow up to just be grown adults who just don't have a clue. I worked for a bank. There was someone who was, pretty much upset in regards to some financing and their cards or whatever. And it just was very interesting just to see this person going off on me because, one, I would say that I definitely think that Satan is working overtime, right? People have very, very nasty, degenerate type of spirits right now. It's just crazy to see people operating in such a space. But, I would definitely say I just realized that people get older, but they never really grow up. They never really mature and become a full grown adult. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm you're getting upset with the bank because you don't know how to spend your money. You guys, I would say this too. Stop coveting. I'm telling you right now, people are poor people are broke. Okay, it doesn't matter. And this is one thing I would say too. White people are not better than you. Like little black girls, little black boys, white people are not better than you. There's this notion that white is better. So when I get to the top, I got to get me a white girl to show them, or I got to get I got to get in these social circles. And it's just to realize right now, please put everybody on the same playing field. Okay, put people on the same playing field. Like nobody is better than you, nobody is above you, everyone is broke, right? White people move in and out of social circles where they also feel the pressure to keep up with the Smiths, right? Okay, I know people say keep up with the Johnsons, keep up with the Smiths, right? Keep up with the Barkers and so forth. Well, Barker's kind of like a more whatever. And it's a real thing. So I just want you guys to just kind of be mindful of that. Like nobody is above you. So stop thinking that. Stop. Because, a lot of times, we're told that white is better. And so you just want to be mindful of that. But yeah, man. And, I'm just seeing it. And it just saddens me, When people aren't raised, they literally just grow up and they just become like these grown adults who do the same things as if they were like 5 years old, right? That's why you're cussing out, people in regards to your finances, because how you spend your money. And now you're expecting some sense of entitlement or some sense of like coddling or assurance for your grown adult actions. And this is the danger. So I think it really starts in the home. And because we do have such a rise of like single parent households, if you are not married, you are a single parent, it's just like, period. Like, we're going to stop with all this trying to fugazi and fabricate the story and, paint it differently and make people think that, oh, okay, you can have kids and if you know the father, then it's okay. No, you're still a single parent. This is still a single parent, period. So, excuse me. Y'all, I had to get this podcast out. That's why I was like, let me just record. I know I sound crazy, but just hear me out. So, yes. And so I realized that today. And, hearing men's like blame women for everything. Listen, this is all rooted in like back in I would say maybe 2020 to 2022, the buzzword was daddy issues. Everyone was talking about it. Pastors was doing sermons on it, series on it. It was a really, really big thing. And what that always tailored into was women and never talked about men and their daddy issues. I was looking at one of the videos from, I was looking at the comment section of a video, and it was from like a popular red pill, blue pill type incel culture guy who like dominates women and believes in like patriarchy and like all this crazy stuff, right? And like basically the guy was in the comment and he was like, he was the father we never had, right? So I realized that men never really had an experience or an opportunity to channel their masculinity in a healthy way. They've never seen where to put the strength that lies within them. They've never seen where to put their physical strength, right? And so I just think that really says a lot. And on top of that, men don't have the emotional availability that a lot of women claim that they want, which has also become like a huge buzzword. And it's because the young boys are not raised. And I can only speak to like black boys because I'm not white, so I don't really know what goes on in the white community, although I can try to kind of get an understanding and just kind of feel like it's the same all the way around the board. People aren't being raised. But, you just kind of realize that like little black boys are criminalized. So instead of them being corrected, instructed, and given reproach, right, instead of us disciplining them, we're just pretty much sending them off the way and telling them that they're just incapable of being handled, right? Like I talked about this on the Patreon, the young mother who was arrested and who was given like domestic violence charges and is now currently out on bond for punching her 12-year-old son in the face multiple times. And I would say this too, like, for the young men, please be mindful. Let me just say this, because I'm going to make this little piece for men, because I think this is what your mother never told you. Stop having babies with women who you could very clearly see she's not going to be a good mother. Like, and this is a thing too. This is why, people say what they want about Christianity. Y'all need to stop frolicking. Get out the bed. Go to the park. It's dead and over with. Don't even do it. Don't even open that door. You don't even need to open Pandora's box, period. Close your legs. Just dead it. And the reason being is just because it's just one of those things where it's like, do y'all see the repercussions of this? Like, you're not about to just be out here having sex and never have a baby. Like, it doesn't work. And when we do this casual act so freely, you're setting up generations of pain, generations of men who sit online and argue with women when they should be out figuring out how to provide and how to protect their families and themselves, for that matter. You set up a generation of people to be coddled. You set up a generation of people who are mentally unstable and are not able to be productive citizens in society. You set up a generation of people who deal with emotional, spiritual, mental, physical abuse, and they don't know where to channel these emotional deficits and voids within themselves. So they create channels where they hurt other people. They speak into the lives of other people, speaking seeds of defeat, poison, and venom to a person's soul. Like, y'all got to realize that these choices that y'all making affect, it's not just you. Please understand that a baby is not just this cute little doll baby that you just dress up and it's whatever. This child is going to grow up. This child is going to have a podcast one day. We don't know, right? This child is going to have an opinion. This child is going to have to go get a job. This child is going to have to be a citizen in America. They're going to have to be fully functional. And the way in which this world is going, this child is going to need street smarts. This child is going to need to know how to interact with people, how to discern. This child is going to need a spiritual background with some type of backing that is not fluid like Western spirituality, because it's very fluid. That's why you have a lot of people who get on this path like myself, and you start tapping into all these different type of entities. They speak into you, and you pretty much go off the rails. Essentially, I'm just going to be honest, and it's not what you think it is. Okay, that age of enlightenment, it creates hedonism within you. It creates this false sense of godliness within you to make you think that you are a god. You start making all these crazy decisions, thinking that you have all the answers because you're meditating. You feel like you're super connected, and you go off the rails. It's no backing from that practice. It is literally no ground. It is no foundation. But here's the thing. You can believe what you want to believe. One thing about me, I've learned to dust my feet. Y'all know I'm rocking with Jesus Christ. Y'all do what y'all want to do. I don't really, well, you know what? I should care because I do believe that God wants to lead his people back to the kingdom. But I don't care to an extent because I'm just not going to argue with no fool. So that's just that. So yeah, please understand that the choices that you guys are making, it's affecting everybody. And, it's a really sad thing to see so many men be so angry and bitter. I think that men are becoming more dangerous as a result. I think that is the primary reason why so many women are saying, hey, I'm not going to date. I'm not going to deal with these guys. I don't want to talk to anybody. Right. We just seen the guy who I think it was in Chicago. Was it Chicago? Who killed that young lady who did not want to speak to him. And so men aren't being held accountable for these actions. Men aren't being educated in regards to such matters. And it's derailing the whole ship. Y'all got to understand that men are created to be leaders. Like I talked about how fatherhood is just a really, really huge factor in a child's life, in a child's development. A lot of times we think that fathers are just here for financial provision. And that's just not the case. Men are here for guidance, right? And so when children don't have that, I mean, you got to know, right? And so without men and their leadership skills, it's just, women are nurturing, man. We're nurturing, we're caring, we're loving. I'm not saying women can't be great leaders because I'm a leader. So that would be very remissive of me to make such a statement or even a insinuation. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we have to realize that men are really being stripped of just their innate desires. It's creating a sense of toxic masculinity, another buzzword, and it's just creating a lot of angry men. And one thing I talked about on this podcast was just how I wish men would love themselves more. And I would love to see the day where people would realize that this desire or this pursuit of this grandiosity and this grandiose lifestyle is false, right? It's false. It doesn't exist. It's an illusion. You've been sold a dream. Wake up out of the stimulation. Hello, this is real world. This is the reality. Go get a job, live your life, meet someone who has the same values as you, marry someone who has good character, who could be a good spouse, a good role model for your children. Okay, wake up, tap in with God, figure out what your purpose is, pray that you meet your lady on the way, and start working on your self-esteem so that you can find the courage and the confidence to approach her. Delete all social media apps. Yes, I said it. Delete all social media apps. If you are not running a business, if you are not building something strategically, intentionally, you need to get off of social media. There's no point in being on there. I've learned for myself, social media is merely a marketing tool. If you're not looking to buy or sell, you don't need to be on social media. You are not a product. You are a person. So that is my message. Men are becoming more dangerous as a result. Women are becoming more fearful of men as a result. Single parenthood is increasing as a result, and it is creating instability. Why? Because kids need guidance, okay? If you have a child with a man and you don't have the financial resources, you do not have the education. When we talk about education, I'm talking about the life experience as well as the just overall foundation. I talked about this on the Patreon, so I'm going to leave that link in the bio. Make sure you guys subscribe. And I pretty much told you guys straight up, people graduate high school and there is no education after that. So you have to realize we have a lot of people who are essentially unhinged, and they are going off of their emotions. And we know what happens when we go off our emotions. We make really, really bad decisions. You can look at that in your own life and see the times you've been very emotional and you've made some pretty bad decisions. It's not to fault you. It's just to make you aware, right? So we're missing a lot of factors to set people up to be successful, productive humans in society. It's a danger as a result. We should absolutely be concerned. And, what I would say is, I was praying, reading my Bible yesterday, and one of the things God really spoke to me, even before I picked up my word, was keep your eyes on the Lord. Like during these times, keep your eyes on the Lord. I'm telling you right now, it's too much, right? It's way too much. It's way too much stimulation. It's way too much news. It's way too much, it's too much. Keep your eyes on the Lord and stay focused on what he has for your life. And if you don't know, ask him. He's so good. He will literally guide you. Pray, do what you need to do. Prayer works. Prayer is real. So that is my message to you guys. Again, I'm going to leave the link in the bio for the Patreon so you guys can check out that video. It is in the 4th tier. So come on down. I create content for journalists and so forth. And I look forward to connecting with you all. Thank you all so much for your support. Peace.